scrappy people, Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with a layout featuring a 6x8 layout, or slightly larger than 6x8 layout, featuring this photo of my best friend from high school and I at her wedding. So I'm going to be using, the New Day collection. Man, I keep wanting to call it by the working name that we had while while I was creating it, but it's called the New Day collection. And I'm going to be using these wood veneer or possibly the acrylic. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to mix and match or if I'm going to use one or the other, but I pulled them both out. Mainly I'm pairing these two together because of the purple tie-in. You can see there's purple in the collection, purple in the veneer or in the acrylic. So, and I thought that this collection could be elegant enough to use for this photo, since I'm not specifically scrapbooking the wedding part of this day, but the relationship between my bestie and I. So I thought it would work well. So that is where we're starting here. I have no idea what I'm doing other than this is going to be a single 6x8 layout rather than a spread. I find that like 6x8 really shifts my perspective on scrapbooking. It feels more like a 12x12 to me than the 8.25x4. Those feel like half a spread to me. So anyway, this is going to be a 6x8 layout, slightly larger than 6x8. It's actually 7x8.5 to fit outside the rings on the 6x8 album. So that is where we're going to go. All right, let's get to it. Alright, so I knew I wanted this big floral to be one of the main papers in the page, and I also knew that I wanted some of this navy because I was wearing a navy dress and I thought that it would help make everything stand out. But I'm trying to figure out the order in which I want the papers. Again, I'm only making a 6x8 layout. It's actually 8.5x7 to fit in the album. So I'm only doing a single page. So I'm trying to make sure that the page can stand on its own, which I haven't really done a lot of in recent years because I'm used to doing entire spreads in my Life Crafted album. So I'm sort of contemplating what I want to do here, and I knew that I didn't want that big pink gingham to be like a big bold piece of the page because I felt like it was a little bit too, I don't know what the word is, just not elegant enough for the page. But I did like the minty gingham because I thought that that was a little bit more elegant and it matched the floral really well without adding in too much of that. I think it was because the pink gingham was just so bold compared to the green that's why it felt different to me. So I'm going to add this blue floral at the bottom. I'm tearing both the pink and the blue floral so that they have nice rough edges. And I'm going to add them at an angle at the bottom too. You saw that I added my paper at an angle, so I'm adding these bottom papers at an angle as well as my photo, just to make everything a little bit more interesting, a little bit more fun than your typical wedding page. So I'm going to be using these color cast veneers and acrylic pieces, and I knew I wanted I wanted the together to be the main part of the title, and I also wanted to use these large wood veneer florals too, but they're very, very large, and so I struggle a little bit. They're very, very large for a 6x8 page, I should say, but so I struggle a little bit with getting them both to fit, but I do get it in the end, especially with all of these other pieces that I want to incorporate. I just have to really pare down what it is that I want to add to this page and be selective about it. And really, that was the hardest part, and I spare you a lot of the hemming and hawing and going back and forth and trying to figure out what goes where, because it really did take the majority of this layout to figure that out. I really, really wanted to include a veneer up there in the top corner because of that umbrella that really just, I feel like, detracts from that photo a bit. I mean, you can only do so much with being outdoors, and there was an umbrella behind us, which we didn't realize until after the photo was taken, which is not that big of a deal, but it was kind of annoying for me when I'm trying to put this page together. So I've got the together down, speaking of together, I've got the together down, and I'm pulling in some of these sort of metallic looking brads from the New Day collection. I really like these brads. They're just like a little bit different than the usual like enamel dot, so I'm really loving the way that they add that metallic sort of vibe to this page. I do know that I want 3 because I always work in 3s, but I can't quite figure out where I want that third one to be yet because this page isn't quite coming together the way that I want it to quite yet. So I had this idea to put a camera sticker instead of the veneer with this veneer up here, and that adds just like a little bit more variety to the page, changes things up a little bit texture wise. I don't think I love this specific camera, and I can't decide that I don't love it yet until later on down the page. So I'm going to pull it up because what I was feeling was I needed to just focus on the purple veneer or the purple acrylic. I think what was really bothering me was the different multicolored acrylics going on and like the different kinds of acrylic. So we've got see-through acrylic, we've got not see-through acrylic, and I felt like it looked better if I was going to use see-through and not see-through if I just stuck with the purples. And I really feel like once I decided that, then it started coming together. I'm not even going to use this dark purple because I felt like the 2 purples that I had going on were enough, so I'm going to try and incorporate this camera down here. No, don't love that. So yeah, now that I've decided on just the purples, it's coming together for me and I'm liking it a lot better. I'm still feeling like it's a little bit not blah, it's just not quite given the vibe that I want it to give yet. So I'm sort of fussing with this heart, trying to see where I want it to be, see what I want it to look like. I decided to put it here even though it's sort of invisible there because it's on top of that tree. And then I put this camera down and I'm like, no, this camera isn't working. So I'm going to go into the sticker book and pull out a different camera in a second. And I think that that helps. I decided to go with this blue one that had the floral on it instead of the bumblebees. And I felt like it brought up some of the blue from the bottom to the top, and that made it a little bit better. Plus, it didn't have those bees swirling around. It only had the florals, which kind of fit with the paper and all the rest of it a little bit more. Now, what I really like about this is that the color cast, like the acrylic veneer, the acrylic pieces sort of mimic the florals that I drew for the New Day collection. So I'm loving that even though I've got 2 different kinds of florals going on with the acrylic and the veneer, the acrylic really ties well into the background paper. So I thought that that was kind of cool. I decided I needed a place for journaling. I was contemplating adding in like journal cards in a page protector, but since I don't really know where the rest of this album is going to go and what the matching page is going to look like, I decided to just add in my journaling directly on the page. So I cut down a journal card into a tag, and I didn't really care about having that floral showing because it was just repetitive floral to the background paper. So I just stuck the floral side underneath the photo. Now I'm just rearranging this veneer. Now I've got it where I want it and there's enough room to add in my journaling. I can rearrange everything. There we go. Okay. So the last thing I did was tie some purple string, add my journaling, and call it good. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Traci M. Reed. I would love to see you over there as well. There is a link to Colorcast Designs in the description box below. All right, thank you.